This story took place after the Great Flood. And I'm reading from the Bible, from Genesis chapter 9, verse 18. And Noah was the father of 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And then Ham had a son whose name was Canaan. From all of these 3 sons were all the people of the earth born. Now after the flood, Noah made a vineyard, and in the vineyard he planted grapes, he made wine. He drank some of that wine and became drunk. After that he uncovered himself in his tent. Noah's son Ham came in. He saw his father naked, and he went and he told his brothers. Ham was the father of Canaan. Now Japheth and Shem put a garment over their shoulders, and they walked backwards. They covered their father's shame. Now when Noah came to himself, he knew what his son had done. And so he said, "Cursed be Canaan, and may he be a servant of servants to his brothers. Blessed be the God of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. Blessed be Japheth, and may the Lord enlarge his tent, and may Japheth dwell in the tent of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant." Now Noah lived 350 years more on the earth. After that, Noah died when he was 950 years old. That's the story. Nobody likes this story very much. I think that we have made the error of taking this story so scientifically that it has been used to promote all kinds of racism and such, because most people realize that the descendants of Ham have gone on to be descendants of Africa. So they take this story as a curse. But I don't know if that's the best way to look at this story. And I have to admit, I don't like the story that much either. But it is full of God's truth, as are the other stories. I want to ask about this story. The obvious question comes to mind: why did God curse Canaan and not Ham? And if you think about that, it makes sense, because obviously it was Ham that did the treacherous deed in this story. So you might think about that. Another question I think is of a deeper nature and much more important is, what is the point of God's curse? Why does God curse? Do you remember the story of Cain? What was it that happened when it said Cain told his brother Abel? Those words are used again in this story because it says Ham told his brothers. It uses the exact same words. In the case of Cain, Cain told his brother Abel. Then he rose up in the field and killed him. In the case of Ham, Ham told his brothers, and it was a different outcome, but it was the very same words. So you might look at that and see what kind of connection that you find in the stories. Also, what do we learn about history in this story? Because in this story we've got the Garden of Eden, and here we have another garden. We're starting fresh again, and we've almost got the exact same scenarios, and yet another garden. In this case it's a vineyard. And I wonder, going back to that question, why does God curse? Because just before this story, you may remember, there were a couple of things that I kind of passed over, the story of the rainbow. But before that, God said, first thing he says when Noah gets off the boat is, "I will never again curse the ground on behalf of man. So, with that in mind, it's almost as if the curse didn't even work. Like, it's like God tried something and it didn't work. So God says, well, I'm not going to do that again. I just wonder, like, what is the purpose of a curse? What's the point of it? And, you know, if that's the case, like, why would God curse? Why would God use curses? Is a curse just like a thing? Is it just like a tool? Or is a curse more of an attitude or an outburst of anger, the way we might use a curse? Because we're hurt, so we curse. How does God use a curse? What is a curse? And this question has huge, deep implications for theology, because we talk about the curse of man as being perhaps the very reason that Christ came to earth. And if God cursed Adam, which we don't even know that he did, we know that he cursed the ground, then what is the point? And I mean, what is really at the heart of the issue here? Is the curse because of something else, or is the curse the reason for our sin? I think here that man is obviously corrupt. Ham is corrupt. The other two may be, but we don't know. But we know that humans are corrupt. And I just wonder if God isn't using curses to somehow turn them toward himself. I don't know. But I just think there's more to this story than we let on. I'll end with one thought. Cain had 3 more sons. Only one of them was cursed, his 4th son. And so, is Ham, is Ham really that worse off than his brothers? His brothers have the blessings of their father, but Ham has nothing, but his son has the curse. And I just wonder, is Ham going to overcome the shame or whatever that he bears of this action, or not? And what was, you talk about the curse of God. What is the curse of God? Well, on the same idea, what is the blessing of a father, or any father in this case? Because it was all Noah that did all this. And what does the blessing and curse of a father mean? And how does that inform our parenting and whatnot? So, all of that rambling probably gave you something to talk about in this story. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you look at this story, or are able to look at this story, which is so often overlooked, in better light once you've made some discoveries. Thanks.